Yeah, thank you, Ms. Schweitzer, for the introduction and the invitation. It's my first time in Wales. First question, have you heard about beacons before? Who has heard about beacons? Just a few? Or are you too shy? So, okay, that's fine. So there are no advanced experts here. So, of course, the first question is, this is the structure of my speech. First, we introduce beacons. What are they? What are the functions? And what are the disruptive potentials to transform mobile marketing and commerce in special? Because commerce, the biggest playground where beacons can hit the digital transformation. And then we look at the bigger picture, trends and visions in digital commerce, and how beacons can accelerate and catalyze the digital transformation that is happening in commerce. So, but first of all, the question, what are beacons? And there is a movie.
Making stores smart. Bluetooth beacon technology has been getting a lot of buzz lately, but the area that is at the center of the heat map is their usage in retail stores. The idea is fairly simple. A small device that runs on batteries would be installed on a wall, a countertop, or a ceiling of a retail store, and it could be many of them installed there. They would in turn send out very short data strings to all the Bluetooth receivers around them, typically your smartphone. And all of this happens on a new technology called Bluetooth Low Energy or Bluetooth Smart. It's different than the Bluetooth you use right now, primarily because it uses very little energy and it doesn't require all that tedious pairing and connection. Now, the short little messages that the Bluetooth beacon sends out, that your phone picks up, instruct your phone to go to the web and pull down content that's related to where you are or what you're doing. It can be very focused on the immediate area where you're standing, or it could be widened out to relate to the entire store. There's store proximity. Beacons could reach out to your phone on the sidewalk, let's say, to urge you to come into a store based on its products, special offers, or your past patronage. Then there's the check-in stage. A beacon just inside the door could trigger a reward for you coming into the store, tailored based on your customer history, and it could also tee up a pre-approved digital payment method for whatever you may buy. Then there's product information. As you stroll the store, the products in it would describe themselves on your phone screen simply by you approaching them. That information can be powerfully personalized because, remember, the content's being served up by robust existing web servers, not that limited little beacon. And finally, checkout. No more having to look for a cashier or even an employee with a phone or tablet to check you out. You just leave the building. Remember, you already set up your payment back on beacon stage number 2, so you're already approved. Nielsen research suggests the smartphone has set the table for the beacon. 70% of smartphone shoppers use a store locator. 63% use their phone to check prices and product data in the store. 37% keep their shopping list on their smartphone. 34% pull up mobile coupons at checkout. And 23% have used mobile payment on their phone in some form or another. Now, of course, before this gets any real traction, we've got to get through a few hurdles. Apps. What app do you need installed for the beacon to work on your phone? Worst case would be an app for every store. Better case would be for every chain of stores. Ideal would be that the technology is built in at the operating system level and you need not install anything, but we're not there yet. Handsets. Your phone needs to have Bluetooth Low Energy hardware built in. Now, iPhones have had it for a while with iOS 7 and future iOS 8 support. Android, Windows Phone, and BlackBerry have been supporting it at the operating system for a while, but it's going to be a while before it's ubiquitous on Android handsets. Not until 2018 will we get to maybe 90%. And finally, there's trust. There's a lot going on here that might spook consumers. This idea of automatically being logged in when you enter a store, having your personal preferences linked to your visit, automatic payment already being authorized, that could spook as many consumers as it delights if it's not handled well. This is a good place for merchants to be just as sensitive and respectful as they are innovative. But I know this, every shopper I've encountered would have a much better time in the store if they could identify what they want, find it within the store's geography, and pay and get out of there without any delay or friction. So beacons have a definite possibility for next big thing status.
Okay, so beacons are basically a radio technology like NFC, and they have two big advantages. They're cheap. To install beacons in your retail store is really cheap, and they use low energy, therefore the name Bluetooth Low Energy. And it's almost a year that people speak about beacon, with the presentation of the iPhone 5S and iOS 7 last year, where the comments were very critical, and they were skeptic about Apple's innovation power. But we took a close look at all the features that iOS 7 and the iPhone 5S had, and we found there's the beacon technology, and Apple didn't promote it, and of course Apple calls them iBeacon. And we made a first paper, and we were proud about it because we were faster than even TechCrunch. And in February, 3 months after that, you could find a article in the Washington Post in the business section. The headline of the business section told us beacons will change the world forever. Maybe that's a little bit overstated and hype around it, but here you can say basically what beacons will allow. This is a virtual store, and when you are nearby the store, the communication established, and so you can get a coupon, get a franc for free. So the old brick and mortar retail stores now have the possibility to digitally communicate with people nearby and get them in the store. And of course, it's personal. Your beacon apps are on your smartphone, so the store knows who is entering, and so you say, "Hello, Mr. Meyer, come in and explore," or whatever news will make sense. And when you're in store, there's the possibility of navigation. If you're looking for a certain product, the beacons can navigate you. In some stores, like do-it-yourself, which often is a tremendously horror experience for me when I'm searching for something, this could be of a great help. It could be a help at airports, at train stations, as museums as well. And of course, you can get marketing messages when you're in the store. And of course, mobile payment can also be done based on beacon technology. And of course, there's a farewell. So anything that is possible in e-commerce, as we know it, to digitally communicate with the customer or the potential customer, now will be possible at the old point of sale, at the brick and mortar retail stores. So, and this is the big thing. The old retail stores suffered when e-commerce started and rose. E-commerce players like Amazon took market shares from the old chain stores because they had advantages. Amazon knows your purchase history, knows your preferences, knows where you live, knows your address, so they can target you and makes relevant recommendations. And in the old world, a transaction is basically anonymous. You go to the supermarket checkout, and the supermarket doesn't know anything about you. So now, the big part of retail, the old brick and mortar retail, will be integrated in the digital value chain, or the digital customer journey, which is a big transformation. And so you have a kind of look at the store of the future. There you can find all the digital technologies that can be implemented, and we focus, of course, on Bluetooth Low Energy and beacons. And you see, the future store can be individualized. If you're recognized personally, and the store knows your preferences, knows your size, when we're talking about fashion, the offerings can be individualized, as you know it from the e-commerce. And the product assortment, of course, based on your preferences, will change. There are displays, and when a different person stands in front of the display, of course, shows different things. When I'm standing for it, it shows my size, some conservative consulting shirt or whatever, and if someone of you stands in front of the display, it will show completely different things. And of course, it's not only the front end that will change. The competition will be won on the back end, because there are a lot of beacons generate lots of data. So we're talking about big data, and the players will have an advantage who transform big data into smart data. Just a short overview about the players. Almost any week you can get the notice that a new startup is founded and tries to develop something based on beacon technology. Most of the players are hardware and software players. Some of them we will see later in the presentation and in the movies. Some focus on software, and hardware basically is a commodity. Most of the beacons are produced in China, very cheap, and the integrated players just order them and customize them for their needs. And so we have 5 use cases you've seen before. Proximity marketing, which is marketing when you're physically standing nearby a beacon, which can be in museums, in stores, or wherever. And here's some trials. CeBIT, which is Germany's and I guess Europe's biggest IT fair. And in March, they installed 40 beacons in the fair halls. And when you have downloaded the fair app, you get push notifications from the exhibitors. And you got indoor navigations. And all the exhibitors used the app to communicate with people who were nearby where they have been on the fair, which is transforming or extending the fair business model as well, because they can develop the app, they can implement the infrastructure, and of course they can charge the exhibitors for people that are sent to them by beacons if they get the deal, and they can make some revenue shares. So it's transforming the fair business as well. Wonder Pots, which has some stores in Berlin, installed in their stores beacons, and of course always you have to download the app from the store or the museum or whatever, and then you got push notifications about ice and toppings, the special offer of the week, a special deal, and so forth. So all the marketing messages you know from e-commerce, from email marketing, from your online site can now be implemented, and they will be implemented at the point of sale in the physical world. Second is a customer reward system, loyalty programs. And in the Hamburg airport, an area in the airport and around the airport, beacons have been set up by the company Joins, which is one of the most innovative in Europe when we're talking about beacons. And you can collect points by entering a store where the beacon told you here's some special offer, and by product scanning. Anytime you scan a product, the app will collect points for you that you can redeem at any place, which is part of the thing. McDonald's in a pilot phase tries the same, where you can collect points. And the American market leader, which announced just 2 weeks ago that it is coming to Europe, Shopkick, shows very well how it works.
All right, guys, I'll see you at 2:30. Off on my regular store run, but this time I've got Shopkick. My friends and I use it to get rewards for the shopping we already do. I just walk into the stores I love, like Macy's, Old Navy, and Target. And my favorite local shops too. And I automatically collect points called kicks. It's amazing. While I'm in the store, Shopkick tells me about great deals and buys. I love finding things to scan to get extra kicks. Love it! When you check out, it gets even better. You can get kicks for purchases too. Oh, one more thing. Fetch! And after you're done shopping, you can use your kicks to treat yourself to something just for you, like a free latte. Or save them up and splurge on designer goodies like a Michael Kors handbag.
even go to the movies. Shh, sorry.
And so much more.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Mom.
How was school?
Good. What did you do today, Mom?
Oh, just a little bit of shopping.
Yeah, I was surprised that such a movie comes from the land that invented political correctness. It's a certain view on females that I don't share. But besides that, Shopkick is a great success story in the United States. Millions of people have downloaded Shopkick and use it on a daily basis and collect their points. And it will be an interesting question if the success can be copied in Europe, as Europeans are more conservative and not that technology friendly as Americans are, or shopping friendly. But the movie shows quite well how loyalty programs can enter a new stage based on the beacon technology, where you can collect points, and if it's done with a great user experience, which Shopkick is, it's easy to use, it's intuitive. So the story is the success story is no surprise for US conditions. Next thing is more rational navigation inside the store, especially big complex places like shopping centers. This is a shopping center in Marseille, which is operated by the Amazon Group, which is the greatest shopping mall provider in the UK and in France. And basically, you have to download the app, and then the app generates two sources of data. First is you set your preferences, what you're interested in. You say, okay, I like football and rock music. And the second source of data is the geodata, because they track you. They know where you walk, and they know where you're in front of which store you stay. And those two sources of data are mined, and based on that, you get your messages about things that might interesting you. And of course, shopping centers, shopping malls are big venues, and so indoor navigation is a useful application that is inside of this. And the Amazon Group has announced that that all shopping malls will be provided with beacons in the next 12 months. This is an Austrian example. Austria's biggest vineyard. It must be big, and I've heard of it because Sevenval, the technical and mobile service provider, is a Cologne company, my hometown, and they talked to me about it. Unfortunately, they haven't invited me so far, but I hope for that in the future. And it's a huge venue, and of course you can use indoor navigation to find your special wine. And of course, wine is a complex product, especially when we're talking about expensive wine. So you can get all the facts about the wine. And so navigation makes sense always where it's complex. Another examples are airports or train stations. King's Cross, St. Pancras, the famous station in London where Harry Potter used the train to Hogwarts, is already provided with beacons, and it works. And it's indoor navigation as well as customer retention loyalty programs from the stores that you can find at King's Cross, St. Pancras. Mobile payment can, as well as it can be based on near-field communication technology, based on beacons on Bluetooth, low energy. Japital, which is a subsidy from the German Otto Group, tried to establish a multi-channel payment in Germany and most of the European countries, because Japital said in different channels you have to use different payment methods. Online you use a credit card or PayPal, you use some cash at the retail store, and mobile, there are some prepaid mobile payment methods. That doesn't make sense. So it established a multi-channel payment method that is technology agnostic. So you have a Capital credit card that is enabled with near-field communication technology. You can use QR codes as well as Bluetooth in the near future. The other example is the market leader worldwide, PayPal. And here you have the demonstration how PayPal uses it.
Sometimes it feels like you're running all day long. And sometimes it's nice to have some help with the little things along the way. The PayPal app with hands-free check-in to pay is designed to help manage the little things so they don't get in your way. It lets you set your preferences so you can automatically check in and pay with PayPal on your mobile device at businesses that you choose. No wallet or cash required. Because the little things can add up when you're on the go. The PayPal app seamlessly connects with the PayPal Beacon, a state-of-the-art low-energy Bluetooth device in your favorite stores that helps you get what you want when you want it. The PayPal app and PayPal Beacon, making hands-free payments a reality. Here's to the little things.
Yeah, of course it will be exciting in the future to see the impact of Apple Pay on the market position of PayPal. But I've been into this business for many years, and every year someone says this year will be the breakthrough of mobile payment. And as you know as well, it didn't happen. We still use our credit cards or cash and so forth. But right now, with all this together, it makes sense to state that now mobile payment has really the chance of a breakthrough, because it's not just payment. If you look at all the technology, you have the app where you can redeem your loyalty points, where you can make indoor navigation, and you can make payment. So payment is just one piece of a whole bunch of value-added services, and this might be useful for customers or even exciting. So not in a big bang, but it's probably a step-by-step breakthrough that we will see in mobile payment, and that mobile wallet with lots of value-added functions will gain success and relevance in the future. So the fifth part is the most advanced one, shop customization. And we have here Mammoth Beacon Store. There's another movie who shows that. And there's a V-Shop, which is in Munich, in the so-called House of Communication. If you travel to Munich, you can go to the House of Communication. There are guided tours where you can see it. And it's basically to put e-commerce in physical reality. You stay in front of the shop, and the shop recognizes you and say you are a gold customer for the shop, and so the price changes. You can get your 10% discount because you're a special loyal customer. And of course, it knows your preferences. It knows your size. So when you go to a display, things that might be relevant for you in your size are shown. And it even knows that with a certain probability, you're in a special mood. So the light adjusts to your mood. It gets blue or orange, lighter or darker. So all the individualization that we know from the digital world of e-commerce is now possible in stores. And the WeShop, another one will be built, a bigger one in Basel, where the Vitra Shop group is located. 500 square meters would be big, and it will show all the possibilities of future retailing. Another one will be built around, that's another topic, around future banking, which of course can use the same digital technologies. And of course you have a smart fitting room, product identification, and smart mirrors. And the mirrors, of course, can have a connection to Facebook, which makes sense. When I remember when I was 18 and it's Friday and I was trying to get some cool stuff for the party, and I post my new clothes, or already new clothes that I'm about to buy, and the people react, especially the girls, and say, "That's really cool." That's what I buy clothes for. So I would have bought it in this case. But the integration of social is especially
mountains. As a leading international outdoor brand of Swiss origin, we are particularly drawn to them. And the mountain separating the digital and physical world is no exception. To scale these heights, some innovation was necessary. For the first time ever, we installed a digital infrastructure in our prototype store by using the brand new Beacon technology, which seamlessly connects our retail area with a custom application available for our VIP clients. And the Mammut Store employees can now view their customer shares and pins on their tablets and offer targeted support. Share or pin your preferred Mammut equipment, and these favorites are then saved in the app through Social Connect. Mammut Store's newly installed visual guidance system and the app enable customers to immediately orientate themselves and head directly for their preferred products. Digital displays show additional product recommendations, as well as products liked by friends. The only reasons you need your smartphone are to check additional product information or videos. And let's not forget the 10% discount you get for using the app. Your Passbook voucher is automatically redeemed on checkout. Thanks to the Beacon Store ecosystem, social media is now seamlessly integrated into the real world, without annoying or distracting customers, leaving them free to focus on finding whatever they need. It's a feeling of freedom, almost like reaching the mountaintop.
Yeah, of course. Pardon? No, no. Of course, there are some technical problems, and some of the pilots didn't work very well. Besides the question of many people, there are some material questions like beacons don't like water. And if there's water around the store, you have problems. They have to adjust in the software when say 4 people are staying near a display. The closest one is identified, but you can configure the software that that all 4 are tracked, and the algorithm puts then some sort of communication that is based on the profiles of the 4 people. And some of the displays you see in the streets at the big crossings or at the subway train stations, where there are big advertisements. And in Germany right now, they are supported by beacons. And if the flashlight is red, and then it's calculated, there are 50 people around it, and 30 of them are fans of Bayern Munich. Then Bayern Munich jersey advertisement is displayed. So some is personal, but the question is completely right, because we're there at the beginning of a trial and error, a learning phase, where the companies are trying to play with the algorithms and make some trials and errors and make them better. Yeah, of course it can be switched off. Of course, you have to install the app. In the case of Mammut, you have to install the Mammut app. Without the app, it wouldn't work. And of course, you can switch off the beacons generally on the phase of the iOS. Yeah, of course, that is necessary. This is the first and a big hurdle. And in the first movie, we've seen that there's a question. You need one app that enabled speaking technology for 5 retail stores. If you usually go to 5 retail stores for your train station and for your airport, so you have many apps to install. And the more apps you have to install, the less you like it. And there are some like Shopstar we've seen the company who's trying to get as many stores and retail chains as their partner, so you only have one app and can collect points at 10 different retail stores. That's a question, because we all have many apps on our smartphones, and how many do we use on a regular basis? Say 5, 10? It's just a little piece of all the apps that you have in your smartphone that you use on a daily basis. But the Mammut example shows one important thing about social networks. Social networks like Facebook came into existence on desktop PCs, and they were a giant success. And now with beacons and the smartphones, social networks can go back to where they belong, in the physical reality. So all the social functions that we use on our smartphones and on our desktop PCs now become mobile and become and you can communicate with them in the physical world. And Mammut shows that very well, that this is a big trend, that social networks go into the physical reality. Okay, and now we try to put the business impact of beacons into a bigger picture, because we see digital commerce is in a big transformation. This is just the macro picture. We have big trends, increasing mobility, aging societies, but what we are talking about is just the increasing digitalization. And some say that it's the biggest economic shift since the Industrial Revolution. And we've separated the trends into external uncontrollable and internal controllable from a company perspective. First, we have a fierce online competition. New players like Amazon made the competition more intense in the last years. We have a continuous transparency. You can go into a brick and mortar shop and check prices from the competitors on your smartphones, which is a big problem, and this for the retail stores, because if you're not the cheapest one, you have to offer something more, like entertainment, service, consulting, whatever. We have changing customer preferences. Customers, especially smart natives, as I see many of them in here, shop differently. The car sector exemplifies that. Back in the days when I was in the 20s, to own a car was a dream. Right now, for many young people, owning a car is not more a dream. Access to a car is still important. That is why car sharing, like Car2Go and the others, have so much success. So we have these changing customer preferences. Then we have industry convergence. Different industries who were completely separated in the past converge. When Google came into existence, everybody knew, okay, it's about searching. But soon people figured out that Google is in competition with the old media, with the newspaper companies. And right now Google is even in competition with the car manufacturers, as there's a question, who will control the smart mobility and the data stream for smart mobility in the futures? Will it still be BMW, Mercedes, or will they just produce the physical stuff and the screen will be controlled by Google and Apple? Which is, especially for Germany, a big question, as Germany is proud on the car making industry. Then we have internally controllable everywhere commerce, which means wherever you are, the company, the retail company, has to be present. The old model of commerce has been the retailer makes some sort of advertisement on TV, radio, newspaper, and says, we got good stuff, come to our store to a certain time. You have to be at a certain location at a certain time. And right now, you can shop everywhere. If you have the right app, I go here and say, okay, that's a nice T-shirt. Scan it with a product recognition app, and I can even order it from here. So every point of interest is potentially a point of sale, and this puts the model upside down, because now the retailers have to be there where the customer is. And the smart native customer expects to do any sort of transaction, searching, checkout from any device, anytime, at any place. So all these channel-focused action and thinking has to be substituted or replaced by a channel-transcending, seamless thinking. Then we'll get to know your customer, of course. All those digital gimmicks, they produce data and data and data. So smart data know-how will become a key competence for retailers and producers that sell directly to customers as well. Then we have the big trend: technology substitutes people, as we've seen. Self-checkout means you don't need a cashier anymore. You need programmers that develop those systems, of course. And logistics is a new key competence for retail in the future. When you've seen the smart, intelligent future store, which is very small, you can save mortgage rent using small stores and inexpensive locations, because you can get same-day delivery of the things you bought, or you can make click and collect, and this becomes ever more important, so that you can go into the shop, order all your stuff, but you don't want to carry it home on your own because you're going to a cafe, etc. And of course, you say at 6 p.m. I'm waiting for someone who delivers all these things. And of course, the supply chain for logistics is complex phenomenon of itself, but it will and is already a key competence and in commerce. So this is the new customer journey, a new and seamless customer journey where beacons can be integrated, is causing disruptive challenges, but it's also opening up new potentials. And this is the customer journey. It's a circle. It's not a line with a distinctive start and a distinctive end. And the customer switches from one channel, from one device to another, without the possibility for the retailer to control it. And of course, the challenges are big. You have to define a new business model under the circumstances of digital transformation. You have to manage the changing customer behavior. And the implementation of a successful seamless commerce, which is not separated into different channels, it's a huge challenge, of course, and you have to get the know-how to use the data and produce relevant information recommendations. But of course, new customers, segments, and revenue streams can be exploited, as well as customer insights, especially for the old retailers who never had individual customer insights. Now can be generated on all the marketing methods that we know from e-commerce can be established. Of course, you can produce some USP, customer enhancement, as you have more possibilities. And of course, you have increased efficiency as all processes become digitally controlled. And now the question is, what can beacons do for it? And they can be used at all points of the customer journey. Information gathering, yeah, you can get the information about the summer sale when you're walking in front of your fashion store. Offering, you get individual offers via push notification from the app you have installed. Sales, the LED systems, I haven't talked about that, but in the future stores, there are LEDs implemented, and if you're looking for something, the LEDs will show you the way to the thing you were searching for. After sales, the identification of liked product. Of course, you bought a product and used it, and some days later you say on Facebook, yes, I liked it, and the information can be used by beacons. Emotion, a central element. I told you about that. Individual light and music if you're in a store, or if you're trying to search for new fashion stuff. And service, of course, non-contact payment, or line skipping apps, as they say in California, where a lot of people right now use an app and they order their smoothie and the ingredients of their smoothie, and when they come across the street to the smoothie shop, they get the smoothie, which is pre-ordered, and payment is contactlessly done by mobile payment. Line skipping apps, a new thing that is hip in Northern California. And we have developed some theses together with the Electronic Commerce Center in Cologne, which is an institute that is closely linked to the University of Cologne. And there are 5 fundamental theses. First is reinvent or die. We say 70% of traditional retailers will transform their business radically or cease to exist. I will come on to the thesis more in detail later, but this is an overview. The winner takes it all. This is the online segment. 90% of the current pure online players will not survive. So we have a dramatic consolidation. We'll have a dramatic consolidation in the online pure e-commerce player segment. Then seamless commerce wins. I've told it before. Channel-focused thinking is out. You have to cover the complete customer journey of the new customer, and at any touch point, you have to be relevant, have to be present in a relevant setting. Customer journey is everywhere, yeah. Every point of interest becomes a point of sale, and if you want to sell something, you have to be present at the point of interest where the decision about the transaction is made. And brand leadership rules. Brand leadership has always been important, of course. Just think about names like Nike or Coke. But in the digital age, where there's an information overflow, where there's a supply overflow, brands become ever more important because they offer orientation in this world of overflow. And besides those theses, we have found 6 core characteristics that will coin the successful future retailers. It's individual. Here's some examples. I will come on them later. It's customer oriented. There's a saying that says we've always talked about that the customer is king. Yeah, for years, for decades. But now he's beginning to behave like a king. And this changes everything. Then commerce is connected, of course. Commerce is flexible in the sense of business models. The world, the change in the world is accelerating, and the competition is changing in rapid speed. So companies that want to sustain will have to develop adaptability to reinvent themselves. And of course, it has to be emotional. Here's Apple, very emotional brand. And you have to be everywhere. Okay, get into them in detail and answer the questions what beacons can do for them. Reinvent or die. Of course, iBeacons can help retailers to transform themselves into real cross-channel business. If you want to cover the whole customer journey, and you will have to be able to do that, beacons are an important piece of the puzzle because they are implemented at certain touch points and make communication at the touch points possible. And this shows the dramatic change from a customer perspective. We have three colors. This is the whole population. Those are the persons under 30 years, and those are the even younger persons, the so-called smart natives. And we have three types of shoppers. That's a traditional shopper who dislikes e-commerce, who likes to shop physically in the city. Then we have the enthusiastic online shopper who loves e-commerce. And then we have the selective online shopper who says, I'm buying my music, my books online, but for fashion, I prefer to go to the retail store in the city. And what is interesting about those findings, one would assume, and I did it as well, that the old people are traditional shoppers and the young people are enthusiastic online shoppers. And of course, among the young, there are more enthusiastic online shopper. But if you look at the smart natives, most of them are selective online shoppers. They decide what to shop online, when to shop online, and what to shop offline, and when to shop offline. So those findings greatly demonstrate that a successful retailer has to be present at all touch points in all channels, to use the old terms. This customer shift indicates very well that multi-channel or cross-channel or everywhere commerce, there are some buzzwords, will become a reality because the customer demands it. The winner takes it all. The thesis which describes the pure player segment, and beacons in this case will accelerate this Darwinistic process. And this shows, I guess everybody knows it, this is the growth of Amazon in Germany. Otto, the biggest and traditional old mail order business in Germany, almost stagnates. And even newcomers as Zalando or Cyberport are outpaced by great figures by Amazon. And we've seen it in Amazon on the big scale, but you can find the same developments in certain segments. Zalando, for example, is becoming the winner in the segment fashion. And you can see all the same development in same segments. So maybe there will be Amazon plus one rule. Amazon will exist in every segment and one specialist, like Zalando for fashion. This is what we can see, and it's the consequence of the continuous transparency and network effects and lock-in effects that you have in those economic circumstances. Seamless commerce wins. Of course, there have to be all barriers between channels, between devices, which exist, and we all suffer from them, have to be destroyed. The whole process has to be seamless. Like imagine you're sitting on your sofa using your iPad, and then you put some products in your wish list, but you don't go further in the process to the checkout because it's 8 o'clock and now you're driving with your friends to the cinema or to some bar, and then the process seamlessly presents you in the head-up display in your car a message from a retailer that knows your wish list and says you can buy it. You're just 200 meters from the store, and you get a 10% discount. But the discount has to be you have to buy it in, say, two hours. And of course, the address is automatically communicated to your navigation system. Sounds scary, but this will happen, and this is what seamless is all about. That everything happens without friction. That you change from one device to another, from one place to another, without any barriers, without any problems. Which has a big challenge in the back end. All IT systems and ERP systems, SAP, Oracle, that are customized for decades have to communicate seamlessly with new web applications and mobile applications. That's a big challenge for all IT. The customer journey is everywhere. And of course, beacons create new customer touch points, intelligent touch points, where the brand or the retailer can get in direct contact and relevant contact with the customer. Here's another example for customer journey is everywhere. Virtual pop-up stores can be used for marketing purposes or even for transactions to buy your goods. You can scan them with your smartphones and they will be delivered to your home address. Brand leadership rules. And of course, beacons represent another communication method, communication channel. So they're a piece of the puzzle to gain brand leadership. This is a comparison between the revenue growth of online shops, retailers, and online shops manufacturer, or the brands that directly sell their goods to their customers. You can see that the growth of the manufacturer online shop outpaces the retail. In the old world, the producers brought their stuff to the retailers, and now with the new e-commerce and mobile commerce possibilities, they get in direct contact with the customers, and they are growing faster than the retailers. And especially the top brands, because they can establish a personal relationship between brand and customers. Some like Nike. I guess Nike has more fans than any other brand on Facebook. Even more than the leading European brand, which is the soccer club FC Barcelona. Nike outnumbers them and fans as well. And this shows that strong brands can exploit the possibility to get in direct contact with the customers. And so we have the question to ask, what about retail? How can retail react to this development? It's an art, and then it's an existence question. So what are the characteristics of future commerce? I've showed them already. Everywhere, individual, customer-oriented, connected, flexible, and emotional. We've seen them before. And here are some examples. First one, individual. And individual, we base them on sub-criteria. And those sub-criteria are based on a set of questions which are strictly measurable, so that we can get an overall score and say the company My Muesli gets a score of 8 in individual on a scale from, say, 1 to 10. And My Muesli, I don't know if you know My Muesli. You can, some say yes. You can order your personalized muesli based out of 75 ingredients, and this is a good example for mass customization. And my muesli is a great success story. Some things are not mass customization anymore because you can find my muesli in Rewe, the number 2 in the German market, and operating in Austria as well, which is of course prepared. There are some five different sets, and it's not mass customization, but it's a great success story. And mass customization is the key word to become very individual. Then we have customer-oriented. Besides those examples that everybody knows, Amazon and Zalando, Jeff Bezos always says, "I'm so customer-oriented. I don't want to make any profit," which is true, and he puts all the revenue he gets into logistics to fulfill the customer needs, such as same-day delivery and so forth. But there's a case like Hointer. Does anyone know Hointer? It's a clothing company that focuses very rigid on its target group, which is male. And male people don't like shopping. They want it efficient. So you have a Hointer app, go to the Hointer store, the app knows your size, and then an automatic infrastructural delivery system delivers the jeans of your size directly into the clothing room, where you can check if it fits. And so the process of shopping is dramatically faster, and Hointer defined very strict. My customer is male. He doesn't like shopping. It has to be quick. It has to be efficient. It has to be rational. And the whole business model and the whole infrastructure is focusing on those criteria. So very funny. It comes from started in Canada, and is now planning to come to Europe. Yep. Yeah, that's true. That's a good question. But and this shows how important logistics will become as a key competence of the company. The logistics supply chain has to be controlled and has to become more complex and more intelligent. Because we've seen those phenomenon. Douglas, the chain for perfumes, offered a mobile coupon, which said you can, if you go to to one of our retail stores, you have to shake your coupon, and then you get one gift for free. The campaign has been such success that most of the customers found that the store didn't have the gift anymore. And this is, of course, the anti-marketing, because you produce a dissatisfied customer. First say you get something for free, and get them into the store, and then say, it's not here anymore. And this shows how important it is to integrate all the IT systems to get something that's a real-time information about what is where. So it's easy to talk about that, but then the know-how and the processes that you have to establish in the back end is it's an enormous challenge. Connected, which means every touch point, every channel is connected. We have cross-channel convenience, cross-channel order and returns. A big problem right now. Go to some media market or export market, buy something on their online site. You figure out it's broken and bring it back to the store nearby. In most of the cases, it won't work because the organizational structure is not programmed and designed for that. But of course, I don't know if it's is in Austria the term Aunt Emma something that is famous? No? So it's a specific German phenomenon. Aunt Emma is used as a metaphor for the old store around the block, which is very tiny. And but Emma, as we call it in Germany, knows everything about you. So you get personal recommendations. And now there's a new retail chain in Germany, and they call themselves Emma's Enkel, Emma's grandchildren, as they reinvented the concept of Aunt Emma with digital technology. And I have a film, a little movie for Emma's Enkel as well. Unfortunately, the language is German. Might there be a problem? But I guess the message will be clear.
Mist, schon wieder steht Philipp an der längsten Schlange. Warum muss Einkaufen immer so nervig sein? Warum kann es nicht so sein wie früher bei Frau Möllring, im kleinen Laden um die Ecke? Da musste er für seine Schokomilch nie anstehen. Philipp träumt vom perfekten Einkaufsladen. So gemütlich wie bei Frau Möllring sollte er sein. Und wenn er dann noch so praktisch wäre wie ein Internetshop, dann könnte er seine Milch mit dem iPad kaufen. Von überall und immer. Anstatt hier seine Zeit in der Schlange zu verplempern.
Frau Witkowski, Storno abkassiert.
Na toll. Aber Philipp, nicht verzweifeln. Deinen Traumeinkaufsladen gibt es jetzt. Emmas Enkel. Hier kannst du wie früher bei Frau Möllring an der Theke einkaufen. Oder ganz zeitgemäß mit dem Tablet-Computer in der Lounge im Laden. Und wenn du länger arbeiten musst oder noch zum Fußball gehst, kannst du deinen Einkaufskorb auch von unterwegs füllen. Am Computer oder mit dem Smartphone auf emmas-enkel.de. Während du noch Tore schießt, wird dein Einkauf bereits für dich verpackt. Jetzt musst du ihn nur noch abholen. Und selbst das musst du nicht. Du kannst ihn dir auch von Emmas Enkeln zu deiner Wunschzeit nach Hause bringen lassen.
Hallo.
Und mit deinem speicherbaren persönlichen Einkaufszettel dauert dein Wocheneinkauf das nächste Mal nur ein paar Minuten. Jetzt hat Philipp endlich wieder Zeit für andere Dinge. Danke, Emmas Enkel.
If you're in Düsseldorf, it's really I recommend to you that you visit Emma's Enkel. It's really impressive. If you have the app and you have your purchase list on your app, you can go into the store and communicate your purchase list to the systems, and they will pack all the products together. And it doesn't look like a supermarket. There's a lounge where you can eat, where you can read or play some table soccer and other stuff. It's like the transformation that we all have seen about bookstores. Bookstores 20 years ago were ugly. There were plenty of shelves of books, and you have to search. Right now, bookstores look like cafes. You order your latte macchiato, of course, no, not old black coffee, latte macchiato, and then drink it, and then read some of the thrillers in order to decide which you want. And Emma's Enkel, which is right now expanding to different German metropoles, is something of a look in the future, how commerce in the future will look like. And supermarkets will not look like supermarkets anymore, yeah? Yes, of course. They can't compete with discounters as Lidl or Aldi or Hofer, is it called in Austria. But they're even a little more expensive than Rewe or Edeka, which is the focus group. So I guess Emma's Enkel will not substitute the big chains such as Rewe or Edeka, but they will transform Rewe and Edeka, because Rewe and Edeka, and they have economies of scale, of course, which make them cheaper. But Rewe learns from Emma's Enkel as well as from Tesco, so that we'll see companies, innovators such as Emma's Enkel, will drive the innovation, which will be adapted by the big companies. Yeah. then you can then some services are not available, of course. Yeah, but this shows a big problem that we have. There's a Gans store in Germany as well, which was the first who implemented beacons, and they did it in a dumb way. I tried it, and you go to the Gans store, and I've been there for 10 minutes, and I got 50 push notifications. And of course, this is annoying. If you use the new communication channel to annoy the customer, he will delete the app. So the race will be won in the back end. Who will produce relevant information, shy information that is useful, and that must be based on data, of course. Next characteristic, flexible, concerning business models. And there eBay is a big example. eBay started as an auction platform, as everybody knows, and then got into trouble for different reasons. Some of them were legal. And eBay reinvented itself as a marketplace with a mobile-first strategy, and is right now the only competitor that there's relevant for Amazon as a competitor. And this is very important, that the management regularly ask themselves, is our business model up to date? Are there new innovations, new technologies that make our business model obsolete? Do we have to reinvent ourselves, or can we go on as we did in the last month? Very, very important. Emotional. My Theresa has been bought 2 or 3 weeks ago. So some startup millionaires in Europe as well. Does anybody know My Theresa? It's a high fashion, expensive fashion retailer, and of course 90% of the customers are female, and you shop expensive markets, brands like Gucci, Versace, and other things. And what they do is they make events, and the events, you can go to the events in Munich or follow them via live stream online. And there are some fashion gurus or starlets who talk about the new fashion trends and that sort of stuff. And you have personal advisors that say, okay, you are 40 and that's your figure. And in Shoreditch, London, females like you and your age spend their money on these brands and this sort of trousers or whatever. And of course, they have the logistics, fast home delivery option in Munich, and they have services for the outfit combination, some intelligent gimmicks that support you in your selection. Next characteristic, everywhere. Companies have to be everywhere, and they are the best in class is Tesco, the UK-based retailer, who's the first who established a real multi-channel strategy. They have real cross-channel. They were the first to have a magazine app where you can put the items in the shopping basket. They have the virtual stores. The first has not been in the UK, but in Seoul in South Korea, at the subway stations where all the Koreans could scan the products and get information about the products, or even order them and let them deliver to their home. They have a mobile wallet where the Tesco loyalty card is integrated, and the mobile shopping. Tesco has been the first as well, and of course they have self checkouts possible in the UK, and a lot of continental European retail chainers are copying Tesco. I see it in Germany every time. The most innovative big retailer in Germany is Rewe, and they separated their outlets into 3 different kinds. The Rewe Center, which are in the suburbs and big, you can everything. You have the Rewe City, which are in the city, which are smaller, and they offer meals as well, and we have Rewe to go, where you can find them in in stations. And Rewe has as well as Tesco home delivery and click and collect in some cities. So the last part. Last chapter, digitalization approach. So I will show you how we can help, or everybody can help companies to become a digital master, a digital champion. That's the portfolio that we use. We say there are certain external digital capabilities and certain internal digital capabilities. You can find them here. External value drivers, digital vision, a digital strategy, the digital presence. Are you present in any devices and in any channels? And of course, all those drivers or capabilities are based on a set of sub-criteria. So we have the catalog of questions, which is around 300 and something. And then you can position your company or any company in the portfolio. And there are 4 quadrants, of course. Digital masters, of course, is clear. It's the company that is externally and internally full. And we have the digital agnostics. We ignore the development. And then we have operators who focus on collaboration software to enhance the work inside the company. And we have digital managers, companies that don't touch the internal organization, but say, oh, we need a social media presence. The next step is that, for example, here you see some of the retail competitors that are positioned, and then we get a curve for every set of capabilities, so that you can compare, say, if you analyze Rewe with the best-in-class Tesco, and say, where do we suffer? Is it presence or is it value or whatever? Next step is then the specific model for retail. Here are the 6 core characteristics in a graphic. And of course, you can go and say, we can position Rewe and any competitor in this web and see the differences and see which parts of the digital mastery have to be developed. The same again. And now you can put all the competitors in one web to see to get a picture of the whole competition. And that's what we do. First, we start with the digital positioning in the portfolio and the set of web graphics. Based on that, you have to develop the digital business model under the circumstances of the digital transformation. What partnerships do you need? What are the new revenue streams that you will benefit from? And last but not least, you have to establish a digital operating model, which in most of the cases is dramatically different from the old model that you're used to. And this is the whole transformation process, beginning with a digital positioning. You develop a vision, strategy, and value, where you want to go from there to there. And when you have defined that, you need the transformation approach and the implementation. And as you see here in this example, the whole process will take a year. It's different from industry to industry, but that's our experience, that the whole process, if it is conducted rigorously, it can be done in a year. Yeah, last but not least, about our company. Professor Schweitzer told us we are a management consultant, a spin-off of Etikani, and we focus strictly on the digital markets and the digital transformation process. And we have some digital transformation labs where you can use the new technologies. We have it in new TV, smart home, commerce, and digital health. And those are the areas where we work in. My areas are, of course, commerce, media, and smart mobility since 1 or 2 years. Those are the labs. And last but not least, there's our internet presence, not for advertisement purposes. But we do some papers, some studies, some research on those topics I was speaking about today, and you can get the papers on the website for free, just a registration. So that's the good message, the free message at the end. And thank you for your attention. I'm open for questions and discussion.